Hello, welcome back to Morning Drive. Gary Williams alongside Jaime Diaz and Matt Adams. And guys, he did not get to host his Champions Dinner, and he won't be able to do so until November, that being Tiger Woods. It would have been last Tuesday. Did not stop him, though, from going to Instagram and posting that, yeah, he had his own Champions Dinner, family style, at home at his residence on Jupiter Island with his family. He said he served the things that he would have served and likely will still serve in November, and had his green jacket on along with his son and daughter and girlfriend Erica as well. But you know what? The tribute that Tiger had for the Masters did not end there. He then showed a photograph that he had his own Magnolia Lane. Now, I don't know where anybody has 25 to 30 magnolia bushes available to line their property as he did with that Masters flag at the end. Very clever, very well done by Tiger Woods. So we all can assume, guys, that, yeah, he'll be there to defend that Masters title 7 months after was originally scheduled to do so. But we wonder, and we've been doing this for years, Jaime, trying to project what we think his schedule is going to be. He's not going to play as much. And now we have something that is something we never certainly thought we would have to add to the equation. So knowing what the schedule appears to be, and if it all comes to fruition, what is his schedule going to look like?
Well, it is always the million-dollar question, or more than that, the billion-dollar question with Tiger. But I think, he skips the first four, and not because there's no fans, and not because they're not necessarily, huge events in terms of historical prestige and all that. I just think it's about saving energy and focus for Tiger now. I think we learned at the beginning of the year that he is more fragile than perhaps we expected. The beginning of the year was really something, I think, disappointing in terms of how much his body can take. And that's maybe not a constant, but it's certainly lingering suspicion that, a lot of golf is not the best thing for Tiger anymore. And so as a result, I think he'll start at the Memorial. And Memorial really is a place he's won 5 times. It's got Jack's imprimatur. It's just got so many things about it that make it something that Tiger, I think, would really value as a place to win, certainly, but also to test his game, and then also go there rested. And from there, I think he goes right to PGA Championship at Harding. I don't think he'll play at the FedEx, even though, those are the tournaments that he's, the WGC that he's dominated. But unfortunately, it's right before PGA at Harding. And then from there, I think Northern Trust, skip the BMW, go to the Tour Championship, go to the U.S. Open, of course, the Ryder Cup, and then he'll be, I think, quite a bit, tested in terms of his endurance. I don't think he'll play again till the Zozo. Some people would say he wouldn't play the Zozo, but I think it's got great memories, and it's 2 weeks in front of the Masters, a good warm-up, and then go to the Masters and culminate the year.
Jaime, I generally agree with you. I think it's still kind of an ish that we're talking about here anyway with Tiger's schedule. Where I disagree on the front end is that before the snap, as you alluded to, we saw the fragility of Tiger's body, and I think he's going to absolutely, after this long layoff, want to get going. I absolutely think that because we're starting at Colonial, that one of those 4 events he's going to play in. I think that Colonial will be a hard one to miss because of the excitement of getting started again. But it's interesting too, Gary, that when you look at the first 4 events, no fans, kind of short, work the ball type of golf courses, you have to pick one, right? If he's going to play in one of them, and I'm going to go with the Travelers. The reason why I'm doing that, TPC River Highlands in Cromwell, Connecticut, is because it is so close to Winged Foot. I think he's probably going to get down there for a practice round on the front end, maybe somewhere in the middle of the week, and then be able to play in a tour event and get gently started into what will be the restart of this season after the snap. From there, I agree. The Memorial Tournament, he's not going to miss that. The BMW. Now, when we get into the FedEx Cup playoffs, either the Northern Trust or the BMW, depending on where his points stand, I do not believe he's going to play one of those 2. So I'm assuming he's going to come in strong enough that he can go right into the BMW Championship, then play the Tour Championship, followed up by the U.S. Open, Ryder Cup, and Masters. And for me, Gary, that's the second place where I disagree with Jaime, is I don't think Tiger's going to fly over to Japan unless there was a very strong commercial reason otherwise to do it. I think that this picture that we have right here is a domestic one for Tiger Woods, and it's the same number of events. What do you have?
Yeah, I'm with you on the Zozo. I think that because of the circumstance, I don't see him going to play in any of the Asia events, which would include another World Golf Championship. As Jaime alluded to, his dominance in that series of events when it started in the late 90s. I'm with you, Matt. I think that he is going to play one of the first four. It's all guesswork on everybody's part. And when you look at his history, there's very little to no history at these four events for him. And the first one is at Colonial. He played there in 1997. I'm going to say Heritage, which is the second event now. He played there in 1999. That was his lone start. You also pointed out the style of golf course. You know, the way that he is evolving as a player. He's still the best iron player in the world. Doesn't have to rely on driver, point to point. Great second shot golf course. I think that he's going to want to play one golf tournament before the month of July. So I'll go with the Heritage being the lone one. And I actually think that it won't bother him to play in solitude in the absence of fans. I think that actually may be something that will be okay with him. Memorial, we're all on that page. Obviously, the three major championships. And I'm with you, Matt. I think that I think we all agree that the three in a row in the FedEx Cup playoffs. By the way, currently he's 28th in the FedEx Cup standings. I think he would like to get to East Lake. Obviously, having won his 80th PGA Tour title there, he'd like to go back there. I think that one way or the other, he's going to be on that Ryder Cup team if he wants to be on that team. And then obviously, he'll finish up the year with the Masters. None of us have included the hero. I think all of us, Jaime, you would agree that he's going to play in his own event, that 18-man field in the Bahamas, but that's not an official event, so we didn't include it. As far as the idea of rest and not playing the first four, I mean, not going all the way until the middle of July, not playing an event, why didn't you not lean on one of the first four?
Well, I think he certainly could, as you guys point out. I think one thing is unfamiliarity with any of the courses and, having to learn the greens. I think it just diminishes his chances to win. I think he just wants to make the most out of every opportunity now. And if there's any sort of, anything that would indicate that perhaps he doesn't have his best shot at winning is something I think he would eliminate. Again, he could certainly go to one of them. I'd love to see him go to one of them, but I mean, he went to Colonial, didn't like it, has only played once at the Heritage, at Hilton Head, obviously, because it's after the Masters, so he always skipped it. But again, the nuances of the golf course, all the other players would have an advantage over him in that regard. So I just don't think he wants to be in that situation. And I just think it's a long season at this point for Tiger Woods. He doesn't have quite as much juice as he used to have, so he's got to save it.
Gary, I think one of the things that you said...
Yeah, the Colonial thing, I don't necessarily buy the idea he didn't like it. He contended, finished in a tie for fourth in 97. I think that was more of a corporate conflict than it was style of golf course. All right, guys, again, follow us on all of our social media handles, on Twitter, on Instagram, on Facebook. Subscribe to the Golf Channel, YouTube channel as well. More Morning Drive coming up.